Mm-mm.
Okay.
It's live.
Hey, hey, hey.
Hi.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, Demi.
Hey,
This is Dating with Different. What
Dammy.
were we? Dating differently with
Dammy.
and Dr. Conti. Hello, everybody. How are you all today? Hopefully, you're good and rested from the holiday weekend and all of that good stuff. We have a doozy for you all today. Now, last week we talked about date them all. And so we're talking today about, do you really want different? And it's kind of a piggyback. We said a part two, but it's kind of a piggyback, and you'll see why. So we just wanted to make sure that we didn't leave out some great things that we were going to talk about last week. So we welcome you, welcome you, welcome you. Please share, share, share. And I'm super excited to be here. Demi's excited to be here. We both have come together to combine our expertise to create a strategic roadmap that helps you first prepare for healthy love so that you can then confidently choose with a clarity and sustain the right relationships. And so that's what this is about, is choosing different and sustaining the right relationships. And so let me tell you, I hear all the time, I want different, I want different. I want different. I want something different. Well, we talk about dating differently, but do you really, really, really want different? Because different takes change. You know, that's the old saying, if you want something different, you have to what, Demi?
You got to do something different.
You got to do something different. You got to do something different. So we're going to be talking about doing stuff differently so that you can get the healthy clarity, all of the consistency that you want. And I'm going to ask you this as we're talking about this. I'm going to ask you a question, and I will probably put it in the chat, or somebody you can put it in the chat for me if you're watching. My question is, what is your dating behavior style? Because we all have a dating behavior style. And what I mean by that is the things that you need to probably do different is something that you've always done. And that might be that you start off giving too soon, financially buying things too soon. You start off cooking and cleaning or doing those types of things, or you don't mind having sex really quickly. So if it hasn't been working and you want to do something different, the first thing to do is to start out probably changing whatever that dating behavior style is.
It's so interesting that you started with that, Conti, because and first, one of the things I say, I liked how you said we're touching on some of the same things. And if you tune in every week with us, you'll probably say it sounds kind of similar. But I want to say, dating differently is not rocket science, but it requires you to put practice into place. Kind of what you're talking about, Conti. I thought about it earlier today. If any of you have ever played any type of sport, like I've been in the sport of golf and learning that for 3 years, you have to do certain drills. You have to start doing things that were uncomfortable, that get out of that comfort zone, like you just talked about. And it feels uncomfortable at first.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
I always say, yes, we touch on some of these same things each time because these are your drills. These are things that you have to continue to work on to do until you perfect them.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you talk about doing different things, one of the things I think about is the difference between being nice and kind. I
Mm-hmm.
would say I want to do that because you touched on um, buying a lot of things or doing too much. And
Mm-hmm.
one of those things is we've always been told, or we've heard a saying that nice people finish last.
Mm-hmm.
They really do. But there's a difference between just because you're not nice doesn't mean you can't be kind. And I want to tell you what the difference between the two is, because that's what we fall into oftentimes,
Mhm.
um, where we start doing too much too soon. So when you're a nice person, you try to please everyone because
Mhm.
you want to make it work. You want to avoid conflict. You don't want to hurt people's feelings,
Mhm.
and try to just go along to get along. And that's going to cause you pain and suffering in the end.
Mhm.
And the way you do it differently is you can still be kind. When you're kind, you're going to be honest.
Mhm.
You're
Mhm.
going to communicate clearly. You're going to respect other people's boundaries, and you're going to make sure that they respect your boundaries.
Mhm.
And more than that, you will, in a loving way, tell someone when they've crossed the line.
Mhm.
Kindness requires courage.
Mm.
Niceness often comes from fear.
Right. Right. You know, it also requires honesty.
Yeah.
You know, the whole thing is we fool ourselves. We live in, have these rose colored glasses on. I see, welcome everybody. I see that Lori said something similar. She said, I'm gonna pop it up so everybody can see it. She
Mhm.
says, thinking away my gut feeling. When I asked what's some of your behavior styles, thinking away my gut feeling. And that's a good one because we do those things, and that's a part of not being honest with yourself. We all have that. When they say the women have that intuition, we do. That's our internal navigation system. And so that is the first thing that we can do, all of us, because we all have that. We all have that thing that just saying, girl, turn around and run. And we overlook it because, oh, but he did this or he does that or he's no. We have to listen to that because that's a part of being honest with ourselves. And you have to ask yourself, do I want different? Do I really want different? Or do I just want the same person, but just act right? I'm going to keep this over here, but can you just act right this time? But that person, that person is acting exactly who they are. So right is not in them. So you want to make sure that when you say you want different, we're looking for better. We're looking for a not just a better version of that person, but a better version of you, because a better version of you is going to do things differently the next time around and attract somebody else that's worthy of you. That's worthy of you. So different requires different standards. The standards that you've been using before obviously not working. So it requires you doing some different things, having some different standards. You cannot keep lowering the bar. You cannot keep lowering the bar and expecting to have higher quality relationships. Different means stop negotiating with red flags. Like I said, pushing that little worm over in the soup. Different means start honoring your non-negotiables. We have them, but I've noticed with me before I started making the change to attracting healthy, I had them, then I
Yeah.
would get with somebody and I didn't execute them. So what good is having the boundaries and the standards and they're not strong, or they're not healthy, and you're not standing 10 toes down on them.
I think part of that comes with, overall, I think what I heard you say was it requires you to really have security in yourself,
Mm-hmm.
to be comfortable with who
Mm-hmm.
you are, to, you said, know your value and know your worth. But dating differently is not for everybody. So we keep saying, no, do you want different?
Do you want different? Mm-hmm.
It's not for everybody,
Mm-hmm.
because most people are more comfortable following social expectations. For example, tall, dark, and handsome, or for a big butt and a smile. Um, it's this is not teaching men or women how to keep somebody or manipulate relationships. It's about really being authentic. It's
Mm-hmm.
about being intentional. But first and foremost, you have to have security within yourself. And I think that's what I just heard you say when you said stand 10 toes down in
Yes.
what you believe in. It's
And who
security
you
in yourself and then comfortable. You put up what Lori said with your gut and understanding that if I'm feeling this, I'm secure and I know if I feel it, then it's true.
That's right. That's right. You know, uh, for us, and we do have male viewers, but for
Yeah.
us, for women, it's going to require, this is a big one, y'all. Put this one in the chat. This is a big one. It's going to require emotional discipline. Emotional discipline. Put it in the chat because we emotionally attach so quickly. You're going to have to be emotionally unattached. You really do. It takes you being emotionally, uh, you know, disciplined. Last week when we talked about date them all, I know y'all was clutching your pearls like, wait a minute, date them all. The
Yeah.
reason that seems so hard is because you get emotionally attached and emotionally involved so quickly and with everybody. Everybody you date, they go out 2 times or 3 times, they call a couple of times, you're already starting to lose your grip and having feelings for somebody that you don't know yet. And so making sure that a part of doing things differently is cannot let chemistry override clarity. You cannot let chemistry override clarity. You cannot, you just because you feel good doesn't mean it is good. And,
Ooh,
and
say that
yeah,
one more time. Say that one more time,
just
please.
because you feel good doesn't mean it is good. Because you know, people can make you feel real good. That's that chemistry. But we know chemistry doesn't mean it's a commitment or it's a real match. So making sure of that. And then different responses. This is big. This is big to get different, to get the different person, the person that you may be envying that somebody else has, or you had in your journal dream book of your ideal man, but you can't seem to get a grasp on having that. The main thing is different responses. Stop texting right back or over texting or over calling. I even have it's bad when one of the guys that I'm gathering information from he said everybody that he has dated did not let him get a chance to chase them. They didn't give him a chance to pursue them. Not necessarily like run chase, like you don't want them, but didn't give him a chance to do the things that men like to do. They were always doing it, or always calling. And when you're doing that, you're not leaving room for them to want to know you, to want to talk to you, to miss you. Responding so quickly, responding so much, doing too much. I was watching a meme yesterday. It was yesterday. I think I sent it to Jimmy. She did this little skit and she said, "Oh, you're home, honey? Well, I've cleaned up your house and I vacuumed and I washed all your clothes and I folded all your clothes and I cooked you dinner." And she just kept going. She was like, "And I worked overtime today too for 12 hours." She said, "And I even stopped and got you a card because I know you said you wanted to start that business, so you can put it on this card." I mean, it was being facetious, but it's so true. We gotta stop all that responding, giving of ourselves from someone or something that has not earned it.
Yeah. So I would add to that. That's so interesting. I'm laughing at that. I would add to that, be prepared for some pushback because we all know, because we do it in different areas in our lives, when you move differently, people sometimes can misunderstand you.
Mhm.
When you move differently, people can sometimes misunderstand you. Some are going to tell you, girl, you're going to be single forever, man, you're going to be single forever. Or they're going to tell you you're too picky. They're going to say you're stuck up. How many times have you heard that? Or you don't
Yep.
ever give anybody a chance. You don't never give anybody a chance. Many people only progress further sometimes in dating, and it goes to kind of connects with what you were saying, Conti, because they were pretending. The
Mm-hmm.
mask was on.
Mm-hmm.
Or because we're really nice or doing some of the things that you said, we're shrinking ourselves and
Mhm.
ignoring the red flags. And so it seems like everyone else is further along than us. But
Mhm.
is the relationship really a relationship? So
Right.
just be prepared for some pushback. Again, no differently when you decide to move differently or in your work or job or career or starting a business and people say, "You think you different now." Yeah, I am. I'm doing things differently.
And you should. You should. And one of the things I tell my clients is the people that have a problem with you doing things different, the people that have a problem when you're healthy and you're standing 10 toes down and you're holding on to your healthy boundaries and your standards, guess what? Those are the people who have been taking advantage of you not being true to yourself. So of course they don't like it because now every time I call you, you say no, and I'm used to borrowing money from you all the time, and you don't have any boundaries, and I don't pay you back, and you still say yes. I now you have boundaries, and you're saying no. I'm used to asking you at the last minute to babysit or dog sit or whatever. All of these different things. And so when we start being true to ourselves, honest with ourselves, I call it being pro self. It's not selfish, it's being pro self. And let me tell you, you're not going to find, or they're not going to find you. Healthy partners want healthy partners. I always say sick attracts sick, healthy attract healthy. So until you clear out some of those things, or as I say, become the cake and get all those ingredients pulled in, you're going to attract the ones who want to take advantage of you, who want to use you because she don't have standards or she's not going to stick to her boundaries. I can break her down. I can break him down.
Yeah. And so that goes into, I think not being afraid of rejection.
Mm-hmm.
For example, um, people, just what you just said, they're going to say that, or they're going to say, people like saying, you move too slow. And
Oh, it's the new sexy.
yeah, they're gonna tell you that. They're gonna tell you, maybe the person that, you've been kinda eyeing and hoping that they'd show some interest, and then they finally do, and now you are dating differently and moving differently, you're gonna have them say, "You're moving too slow,"
Mhm.
or, "The calls aren't coming in like they used to," just like what you said. When you start saying no more often, calls start coming in, or being more assertive. And when you reach out to people who haven't really matched with you, you're not getting any feedback back from them.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because and I think we've said this, and again, I always say you're gonna hear some of the same things we say often because again, we're going through the drill. Rejection is not failure.
Right.
And you said often
Rejection
about
rejection is God's protection.
rejection is information and redirection. Um, Dating differently means being willing to hear no and still remain secure in yourself
Yeah. I
and
always go
being
back to
ready.
that story with me in at the pilot. That's when I knew I got it, and it was he didn't call me no more. But I wasn't sad. I was happy. I was like, "Girl, you got it," because you didn't jump and go drive late at night, way out to Intercontinental to hang out with him. Maybe have a cocktail or so and drive back and endanger my life. I said no. I stood to my boundaries and my standards. And I always say the one thing good, healthy boundaries and standards will do is it will run off and filter out those who don't have the right intentions. You have to remember you cannot help. You're not trying to date differently to choose other people or to do it for other people. You're dating differently so that you can, as they say, the cream can rise to the top. The cream of the crop can rise to the top.
So, but I'm going to add to that because it's not just the people who may be users. Yes, it's absolutely going to get rid of those.
Mm-hmm.
It may just be the people that aren't for you.
Yeah, that's not a
So
line with you. Mm-hmm.
that's not a line, right? Um, it's not always mean. It doesn't always mean that they're a bad
Even a
person,
bad person, right?
the right person for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I always say
Because
every good person is not your good person.
right, because boundaries will make some people really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And we should have boundaries throughout our life,
Mhm.
period, within
Absolutely.
friendships, within your family, all different type of relationships. You have it
Absolutely.
when you're at work. There's certain things boundaries you have with coworkers. There should always be boundaries in your life. And when it starts to click, like you said, it clicks because if you want something different, you got to start moving different.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
growth is really uncomfortable. I don't know if
Mhm.
anyone has ever done, if you've ever learned a new skill, whether
Mhm.
it's a new job or you stepping into some type of leadership, it is extremely uncomfortable. If you've ever played, like you all know, I play golf, right? It is the most uncomfortable position to be in when you're swinging, trying to hit a little white ball. But
Mhm.
just because it's uncomfortable, and it feels uncomfortable doesn't mean it's going to get you, it's not going to get you the results you want.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
Typically, if you're not uncomfortable, you're not growing.
that
Mhm.
part, that
Mhm.
part.
And the thing about different does not start with who you date. It does not matter who it is that you date. Different starts with who you become.
Yeah.
Who you become, not who you date, because it's who you become that's going to change who you date, because that's what's going to attract. That's why I always say, be the cake. Have all those ingredients that you need. A cake is great without anything else. It has all the ingredients it needs. And so icing is just to enhance the cake. And once you have gotten to yourself, or you're happy and you want to do those things for you and enjoy life for you, it's so easy for you to say, no, doesn't work for me, because you're not hungry for anything. Because you're hungry for stuff and you're starving for stuff, you're going to always usually get something that you don't need.
And it's really not about acting better than people. Because I know we hear that, you think you're better than me, this and this. It's, not abandoning yourself to be chosen.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a wonderful, wonderful feeling. I mean, the goal really isn't
To
just
get somebody,
companionship.
yeah.
It's alignment, it's peace, it's honesty, it's
Yeah.
emotional safety. And I tell you, when you have that within yourself and you're able to, put that off and then
Mm-hmm.
find someone that has that same thing, it feels so good. Even
Mm-hmm.
when you have things that you're disagreeing
Right.
on, to have a discussion, it just makes life so much easier. And
Mm-hmm.
for those of us that were married for a long period of time, so, 20 plus years, and now we're divorced, for those of us that were career driven and waited until this time to start to date again, for those of you who have empty nesters, this is graduation season. A lot of them are graduating, and you're like, now life is about me. That's what easy is. I
Yeah.
remember I had someone say to me, "I just want easy." But he was a narcissist, and what he
That
wanted was,
means,
"I
yeah,
just want this my way."
I
So
don't
when
want to do the work.
yeah,
I don't want to put in no effort.
but when I say easy, it's easy, it feels good, it's not complicated. It really is. There really are easy relationships out there.
Yes. Yeah,
If
because it's not that hard. I mean, relationship takes work. Marriage takes work, relationship takes work. But it takes a whole lot of work when you with somebody that you're not aligned. And you with someone, for instance, you're growing and you're accomplishing, and they're sucking you dry, or they're lazy. I always say, yeah, opposites may attract, but it doesn't keep it starts the fire, but it also can burn the house down. because, because later, when you want to go out and do something amazing and they want to lay on the couch, or you want to bungee jump and they want to lay on the couch, y'all are not aligning, and things really go bad quickly when you realize, who are you? Like, is this the person I started out with? Yes. You just didn't take enough time to really get to know who they were, or you just ignored, because who knows, they may have been smart, or they may have been nice and kind, like you say, or they may have been handsome, or they may have been good in bed, which you probably shouldn't know yet, but all that stuff clouds our vision of what's really happening, and it covers up, and you don't see, you're not, the clarity is not there.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
one of the things that I shared with Conti before we got on tonight is we've been talking about dating differently now for 6 months,
Almost a
almost
half
6 months.
a year. Yeah.
6 months. And so we really would like to hear from you all. We want to hear, maybe some of those questions, obstacles, concerns as you're out dating differently. We want to hear from you. We want to do a show on, send it into us, DM us,
Mhm. Mhm.
tell us
Yep.
some of the things happening. Tell us, what would you do? We may even need to do a show on what what happened to us back then and share some of that tea. Share some of that
Woo.
tea.
Yes, yes. We had, you know, literally, again, that this is exactly how the podcast got started. And that was us online dating and coming home from a meet and greet and talking about it and sharing about it. And either like, girl, you're not gonna believe this. Can you believe? So trust me, you're gonna get those. But and then I always say, get an accountability partner. That's your. We became each other's accountability partner. That's somebody that you can talk to about it. You can take your time with. Like remember, slow is the new sexy. You're not trying to go out there and rush and be with anybody, but you want to be enjoy yourself and you'll quickly be able to see if it's not working for you. No emotional energy. Don't
Yeah.
invest in emotional energy.
So I know we have just a couple of minutes. I don't know if you had a question, but I was gonna.
Yes.
Oh,
But if
you
you got
did.
something else, we can go right ahead. What you got? What you
Well,
got?
I was just gonna share. I remember because I know you guys like my little quirky stories about the before I met 22. But I remember meeting someone that I thought, man, we had such great conversation. He was hitting all the points. Even, I never tell people, give them the playbook.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, he kind of looked like Tay Diggs. I was like, now this is my stuff, right? But I remember him making plans for us and then canceling, saying that he wasn't feeling well. He actually said he had a migraine.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Okay, cool." And I think half a day or so went by, and I just said, let me call, check on him, see
Check
how he
on
was."
it.
Right? And I remember him telling me, "Oh, I'm doing okay. I'm not available. I'm out right now. I'm helping this young lady buy a car."
Like, wait a minute. What happened to the migraine? That's what I said. He's like, can you believe he's out helping somebody buy a car? I was like, wait a minute. That's the same one who said he had a migraine.
It's the same one that canceled the date with me because he had to go help another young lady do some stuff, but I think he forgot that he told me he had a migraine and wasn't available. But the funny thing is, I only brought it up. I thought about it because you talked about being the emotional attachment.
Mm-hmm.
And as much as I thought the conversation was great,
Yes.
and I love me some Tay Diggs too. Okay.
He did look like Tay Diggs, y'all. He did.
But I just never called him back. I just was like, you know what? One of the things, yeah, liar, liar,
Okay,
pants
and
on
let me tell y'all one of my stories. When she said never call him back, because so when we talk about good guys, right? Like we're talking about the ones that, really there's some good guys out there, but you
yeah,
may not match. So uh Green, really, really nice guy. Really nice guy, y'all. It's hard when you meet somebody that's nice, but you just don't align.
yeah,
And so, it was like, but then Mitch was like, girl, just block him, y'all. It's not gonna work. Tomato, tomato, it's just not gonna work. And I was like, yeah, but he's so nice and he's so kind. But it just wasn't gonna work. But it was hard. It was hard for me. That's one of the things that I had to get past because I'm so nice. You know what I'm saying? I'm so nice to people. I felt like, oh my God, that's so mean. But it's not. You're gathering information. And I'm just sharing this. We're sharing these things because I'm sure if you haven't gone through that, you will go through that. And there are people out there, everybody's like you said, it's not a bad person. It's just not going to be the good person for you.
And that's why the difference being kind. The
Mm-hmm.
nice part of her was, I just can't. He's so sweet. He's so sweet. And I was like, girl, just block him. Just stop answering the phone.
And I would say, I'm going to, okay, I'm going to do it today. I'm going to do, because you know, Demi, y'all, literally, she's amazing with those kinds of things. And she has some, you know, if you book her, she's going to give you some nice little sayings to say when it's time to say toodaloo, toodles. So she had given me my little script, and I was like, okay, I'm going to say it tonight. I'm going to say it tonight. And then, like the next day, I would say, well, he called him. She's like, well, what? You didn't do it yet? What are you waiting on? I said, I know. But yeah, so it's different because, and this is why we're talking about dating differently. Because this is new. You know, we used to talk to people forever, even though you know you're not going to be with them. Nah, no more.
No more. No more. No more. So we are so excited. We are excited. If this conversation spoke to you, I want you to be sure to follow and join the Dating Differently Facebook page, subscribe to our YouTube page, and follow both of us on our social media platforms. And join us next week as we continue to give strategies to date with clarity, move with intention, choose with confidence. And we look forward to continuing to help you love intentionally,
heal completely,
and date differently.
All right, y'all have a good night.